She Can, we tell women's stories. We show how women got to where they are today, and those stories serve others. It's easier to be what you can see. And I'm really excited to talk to Tessy Antony De Nassau today. Tessy, welcome to She Can. You are a really busy philanthropist and have been bringing about so much change. In 2016, you co-founded Professors Without Borders, an NGO specializing in international educational efforts. You're the founding partner for Finding Butterflies, a consulting service focused on corporate social responsibility projects in education and female empowerment, and a global advocate for UNAIDS for young women and adolescent girls. You're the co-founder of Human Highness, which is a sustainable fashion brand, and Vitamin W Global, a global female members club. So tell us a bit more about yourself and what you're doing now and concentrating on now.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. It's wonderful to be here. Thanks to Mandy Sangera. I think it's important to say where we're coming from and who pulled the chair to the table where our names were not named. So thanks to her, we got in touch with each other. Women supporting women, I love that. So where I'm now, all of these projects have really paved my way. Was also in the military for 5 years, which really strongly as well ignited that passion to be there for my fellow sisters around the world. I have seen really horrible things, and in the world we're living in, which is so, divided and unsafe in so many ways, I think it's important to see what we can draw from the past and what we have learned to kind of like apply it to the future. Other than that, I have 4 kids, move around town a bit for different projects. Just published my children's books last year in Luxembourg, which have become bestseller within a week, which it's amazing. It's about tradition and culture. Briefly about that, why did I do that? I had them in my mind for 18 years. My oldest will be 18 now in 2 weeks. Who imagines that, right? I have an 18-year-old child. And this is a gift to my children, but also a gift to all the children around the world, because tradition and culture, history is something we can't buy. And so I wanted to leave a long-lasting legacy for them, for their children, and for other children once I'm gone, And so that has been really exciting. And many, many other things. I'm sure we will delve on a few others as we speak.
Tessy, thank you for that elaboration. Now, tell us a bit more on how you got to this place. What is your journey? You said you were in the military. Expand a little bit how you got from one thing to the next and are now sitting in this incredible position where you're really making a difference with all the different projects that you have started or co-founded or are a part of.
I think it comes from my father. My father is really, for me, a huge role model. He is a man that when I grew up, he would not send one person away. He was a politician. He's retired now. He was a politician, had his own companies, investments. It is a man that always was there for the community, no matter how good we had it or how busy he was just always there for everyone. And so we would randomly have people have dinner with us or lunch or, coffee, and they would talk to my father about their problems or what they need or ask for advice. And that really inspired me. I grew up with it. So for me, it was also normal that we would do that to our fellow countrymen and women, or to people who have just moved to the country, expats, refugees, people in trouble, young people, whoever, whatever their status was. My father never turned a blind eye and was always there for them. And growing up with such a strong role model, but also a fun dad. My dad is such a fun person, and he really does it without any agenda. And even today, my friends go and see him in Luxembourg, even though I'm not there. So I'm like, well, I'm not there. And they're like, yeah, I know, we're going to see your dad. So he's a really guy that people love because he's so genuine and so authentic. And he always said that to me. He said, you are you, and you can only be you. So be the best you. And we're privileged. We have a roof over our heads. We have food on our plates. We have medication. and we can go and see a doctor. There's no bombs falling on our heads, and we're not raped when we're walking in the street during the day, you know, or get abducted. And he said, as such, this is a huge privilege because there's so many millions, thousands of people all over the world who don't have this privilege, specifically now that we are reflecting as well on all of these wars happening around the world and the injustice that is happening all over the place. And as such, you know, for me, it was natural to step into his footsteps. I wanted to make him proud, but I also wanted to find my own path and see where I could be good. And a lot of people might think to themselves, well, where could I be good? And I have an answer to that question, which is if you look out of the window, and that is how I did it to myself, how I found out myself, but also how I work with my mentees that I have all over the place. When you look out of the window, you see many things. You see logistics, you see environment, you see people, you see, you know, climate, you can see so many things. And whatever stands out the most to you is the domain that is your passion, where you're passionate about. You can do all of them, but we don't have time to do all of them. So focus on one area and really get deep into that. Who are the leaders in that? Connect to them. They might not all write back to you, but you will give it a shot, right? I did that, and a lot of people wrote back to me. And as such, you know, I build up this personal network of champions that I'm sitting on their shoulders, and I'm creating these projects for myself, things that I'm passionate about with friends and people that I believe in and inspire me. And as such, out of that seed from my father and being such an amazing role model to me, I became what I am today with all of the different projects I'm doing.
Tessy, and what would you say is your main motivator with all the different hats that you're wearing?
I think it's just, you know, my own happiness. It makes me happy, so happy, and I can sleep well, going to bed knowing I have tried my best. Of course, my children and other people around me, but I think you should always start at home, and home is me. Home is you. Home is whoever is listening within you. And, you know, if you can be happy and in peace with what you do, then you have already won many battles, because that everything else is a plus. If you're in peace with yourself and you perform better, you are happier, you attract more opportunities, your energy is stronger, and all of these things. And as such, yeah, that is why I do this for me. And if I'm happy, I can share this happiness with others. It's like put on the mask first before helping anyone else.
Yeah. Tessy, so what qualities do you think you have that make you so strong, so powerful in all the pursuits that you have?
I think it's my experiences, my life experiences, good and bad. I had horrible experiences in my life, but horrible to me. I am not comparing myself to anyone else's life, but I have a merit to say I had horrible experiences, because that is how I feel about it. And so, you know, my divorce is very public. You know, divorce is a horrible thing, but having it play out in public, in the press, with millions of people who have no clue who you are. I always say, you know, if you don't have my private phone number, you don't know me well enough to talk about me. And yet there's this mutual, this consent, this global consent that people always think they have the right to talk about you. And that was hard for me. And then, you know, in the military, I had great experiences, but also I almost got sexually assaulted when I was deployed. And that was traumatic. I lost a baby. I had a miscarriage. You know, all of these things, really, the adversity that happens in your life creates that resilience that you need in order to move forward. It's like a diamond, right? The most beautiful diamonds are the ones that are being created through pressure. And as such, I'm grateful for every single experience I had. Not maybe at the moment they happened, but now I am, and I'm sure there will be many more coming. And that's okay, because we keep moving forward. And that is, yeah, I think through the resilience and also gratitude. being healthy to go through all of that, thanking my body continuously, my feet for standing firmly on the ground. Because I had a huge burnout and I wasn't able to walk anymore properly, and I was shaking a lot and I couldn't eat anymore and whatnot. And realizing what my body did to me to keep me going and is doing again makes me extremely grateful. So gratitude, appreciation, but also to be open to opportunities and consider challenges as a means to grow. So just looking at it a little bit different and putting this all together in a really fluffy ball, that is why I am the way I am now.
Yeah. Tessy, thank you for talking about it so vulnerably and authentically and beautifully. So, how did you manage a comeback from a burnout? Because I speak to a lot of women who have experienced burnout in their lifetime, and everyone copes with it differently. But I think you've been alluding to this physical strength. And so, could you expand a little bit on that? Because I think there are so many lessons in there.
Of course. I think burnout, when it happened, I felt like I'm dying. And it's true. Now that I reflect back over the years, my old self was dying. My body just said, Tessy, you can't keep going like that. Too much. We are taking the break now. And you don't want that, and I don't care. This is really what happened. So kind of like acceptance that this is happening to me. And that took a long time because I'm an ambitious woman. And I thought, oh, I'm just tired. I'm going to take a weekend off. I'm going to be better. And I felt better until it came back. Yeah. Because it was not enough. There was a work to be done. Nowadays, people just think I'm going to take some pills and I'm going to do whatever. It's going to be fast. No, it's not. A burnout, when it's really strong, there's different stages of burnout. And every burnout is like a fingerprint or like our earlobe. It's so unique to all of us. Yeah. What it is, how it feels like, how long it stays, and how intense it is, and whatever. For me, I had a lot of signs of burnout and I ignored them. I was like, oh, I'm just tired. It's hard to identify if you're having a burnout because it's so unique, right? And you can read about burnout, but you never know when it is a burnout really until it actually happens. And then it happened. I was in a meeting and I felt like something hit me in the chest. I got really warm and I had that really weird dizzy feeling, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. And my heart was hurting. And that was the first symptoms. That was really when it was very bad. And from there on, I had anxiety, couldn't sleep, couldn't swallow. It was really hard to swallow for me. And so I went to the doctor, as everyone would do at first, and I got pills. And then I thought, I'm so young to take pills. I was 30 at the time. I was like, I'm too young to take pills. I have 2 young children I need to take care of. I have a business. There's so many people that rely on me and myself. I can't take pills. This makes 0 sense. It's like putting a plaster on a bleeding wound. There must be something more to this story. And so I started doing research and I got into Chinese medicine, acupuncture, meditation, RTMS therapy. And I met a doctor, Dr. Zamar in Harley Street. And he said, how long are you on the pills? And I said, 10 days. He said, do you feel better? I said, yes, I do. And he said, of course you do, until you don't. He said, it's good to get a start with it. If you're really, really, really ill, these pills can help. So if anyone listening who needs the pills, I'm not telling you don't take the pills. You go and see a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just telling my story, which is important to make that clear. And so he said, no, you shouldn't take that. So he took my pills and he threw them away. And I got so much anxiety. I was like, oh, I will be anxious again, right? I was like, oh no, I need these pills because they really helped. And he said, no, we're going to do RTMS therapy. And we did all of that. And what I have learned then is I saw a girlfriend, Anna. She came to my house and I told her what happened to me. And she said something and I was mad at her. And I was really like, how dare you? Like I had all of these healings. She said to me, this will be at least 4 years for you to recover. And I couldn't believe it. I said, what? 4 years? Are you crazy? And she said, you will not believe me now, but just take my word for it. I had it and I have been there, and I have been given that same advice, and just accept it. You will need to accept it. And she was right. It took years to fully recover, but that was about, doing sports, getting out there, meditation, taking vitamins, magnesium, doing things that you like, getting rid of all of that negativity in your life as much as you can. Start saying no, have a good sleep, study about the science of sleep and how important it is to you. Like all of these things, there's a lot of work to be done, but once you get into that, you will never live differently again. Like my life has changed so much, and the new me out of this burnout, I love her. I think it's amazing. She's a strong woman, and yes, she's not perfect, but she is there and she gets things done. And if she is tired, she tells me and I listen. And that is really what I learned from it. It might seem daunting and it's scary. It's so scary and it can be so lonely. But you're not alone, Anyone who's listening to this, talk to the people close to you. Go and see someone, do some research online, Dr. Google, as they say. But it sounds pretty stereotypical, but actually there's some good resources you can find for free to get it started and get to know you for who you really are, and not for who raised you, what the outside effects are, what you studied. Because when you had a burnout, you really have an opportunity to connect to yourself within the deepest realm of your body and your subconscious. It's a beautiful exercise, but it takes patience and time.
Thank you so much for talking about that, Tessy. So let's hear some top tips for women from your experience. You've been working in so many different organizations. You've been in the military, you've been deployed. Give us some tips that you would give to younger girls.
So there's two parts to it then. There's millions, of course, but the two parts that come straight to my mind are: one, physical skill, which means, walking in the street at night. I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, especially in London or in big cities, I feel unsafe. You hear all of these stories of, in London, Sarah, the girl that got taken by a policeman. She trusted him and then he killed her, right? It's huge things happening. Physical skill means learn how to defend your body, how to defend yourself, and that saved me, because I had rape attempts when I was deployed with other military. It was not even the local people, it was other military who tried to do that. And I could defend myself. There was for me, I had the skill, I had the confidence, and I just did it. I said, there's no way, Jose, that this is going to happen. And I defended myself. And I think this skill everyone should have. Every young girl should have that. Every woman should have that. But also every young boy should have that. I taught that to my kids. They are in the military now. They go to the gym. They're fit. They know how to defend themselves. It's important that you know. It's not to be aggressive. It's not to be violent towards others, but it is to protect yourself when your life is threatened. Yeah. So that's one. And there's really fun classes you can take in community centers, You can meet new people as well, and it's actually fun. It's not daunting. It's a fun thing. You get fit, you meet new people, you learn new skills, and who knows, it might save your life one day. Yeah. And thus, I think it's a really good thing to do. Then second is, we're living in a world where there's a lot of competition. There's, education-wise, everyone has at least a master's now, so how do you stand out, especially as a woman still today? At the WEF, I was speaking at the Female Coaching Lounge about the gender pay gap, yeah? We women have the blessing to be moms, to have babies, yeah? But all of these things need to be factored in when it comes to work. And as such, become indispensable. Become the best in what you're doing. That learn new skills all the time. When you're on holiday, there's Coursera and other things. And even for me as a professional woman, I still do these courses. They cost nothing, and it brings you such a good, overall intelligence and skill set that you will need to stand out in terms of your competition, whatever that might be, other women or the men, right? And that, I think these two, if you do these two, keep learning and learn to defend, to be fit and learn to be street smart. You can call it like that. These two things, I think, would be what I would give as a tip today.
Tessy, you just mentioned the WEF. I know that the Female Quotient is doing incredible work at all these big conferences. Do you see a difference of how the WEF has changed for women in the last years?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. It was, years ago. I attend since almost a decade now. It was, there was a lot of white male on panels at the beginning. I went, and I was that little girl, that young girl, 27 years old or something like that. Felt lost. I didn't know. I had problems to connect. And from that first time I attended to now, it's like day and night. Like the Female Quotient Lounge has really made a huge difference. It's fantastic, and it's really a safe space where we can talk real stuff. But also, the big companies and organizations, and also male-led organizations, they're all aware that women represent 50% of our society, and the WEF has really embraced this dialogue and provided the platform for more conversation when it comes to how AI will empower women. So, for example, sexual health discussions are there, psychedelics discussions are there as well, on the side of personalized medicine between men and women. What's the difference, right? All of these topics I have heard being discussed at the WEF, and I love it because I learned so much. And as a woman, it's a strategy. It's not just to be just, but it's a strategy for economic growth to do that. Yeah. And to not do that is stupid, right? We all know the economic growth that will happen when women are empowered. And as such, yeah, huge difference. And I love it. And I cannot wait already for next year. What I must say as well, some people who have never attended, say, oh, the WEF is just for the rich people who are coming with their private planes. There is some part of that. Yes. And the wrap around the WEF is the white badges. They just discussed, no one can access that, and who cares about that, because whatever they're talking about, we're never going to be part of this conversation. It's true to some extent, but I would add to it that you cannot change anything from the outside, and that's why I go. And I really feel, as a normal person, as a mother, but also as a businesswoman, as a corporate and whatnot, all of the different hats I wear, that when I go, I feel like I can make a difference. And, the side events are free to attend. You don't need to be a rich person to attend the WEF. The white badges and the WEF side events are two different things, but the side events are so prominent now and so strong. I don't attend the white badges conference center. I have never attended that. Not in 10 years. Firstly, I have never been invited there. And secondly, it's too expensive for me to buy a ticket if you're not sponsored, right? So I go to the side events, and I'm okay with that, because I feel that everyone, even the ones from the conference center, I see them at the side events. So you can still meet the game changers or the people you want to connect with. And at the WEF, everyone is so open to talk to you, like the chairman of Roche and whatnot. They are there, and you can just approach them easier than anywhere in the world or at any other time in the day. And I think as such, it's a huge opportunity. And for people that have not experienced it yet, try it. It's true recommendation. I also want to put that. People say, well, I can't sleep there because it's so expensive to stay there. Yes, it's true. But you can, within an hour and a half, you have a train from Zurich to Davos. So if you really want to be part of the change and see this change that I have just described, come and see it for yourself, because it is possible if you really want to.
Yeah, thank you for that, Tessy. It's a big shout out to Shelly Zales from the Female Quotient and Mandy Sangera, who put us in touch, and all the amazing women who are making a difference there. Tessy, so what are your plans and goals for the next years? Where is your journey heading?
So, well, first and foremost, getting my children through their schooling and making sure they're fine, and being the best wife I can be to my husband. And then I want to grow the baby books. So they have been bestseller in Luxembourg, and it's about tradition and culture and food and architecture. It's made for babies from 0 to 4.
Yeah.
It's a really nice concept, and it doesn't exist yet. So to kind of like, the Starbucks cup theme, you have a cup per city. I want that there's a box of these 4 books per city. So I'm scaling that, I'm growing that, which is really exciting. And I'm looking for sponsors for that. And I have already quite a few, which is just so beautiful that people really share this love for education and tradition as much as I appreciate that. And then for the rest, I'm getting more and more on boards. So I did a board director diploma, and I really like that, because I really feel that you can make a change when you sit on boards, specifically with my I don't know how you want to say that, young woman living in several countries, mother, business owner. I bring a lot of wealth of knowledge when it comes to governance and so on, and I really love these interactional boards. So that's definitely something I'm going to look towards more, to be doing more of that. And for the rest, just being there for my fellow friends and countrymen and countrywomen and communities around me, to give back the blessings I have been given, and see what happens, pull some chairs to the tables, as my chair has been pulled to many tables as well. I give back to that.
What a beautiful finish line is that, Tessy. Thank you so much for talking to me today, for telling your story, and to Mandy for putting us in touch.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And to you and to everyone else, if you want to get in touch, please do. Of Instagram, if you have more questions, it's always an easy one, and I'm the one replying. It's Tessy_from_Luxembourg. And I cannot wait to see all of the other guests you have. And I have some chairs to pull to your table. I will introduce you to some others that I think should be on your show. And as such, we create together more communication, more sharing of knowledge, and creating a bigger community where change is really a reality and not just a statistic.
Thank you so much, Tessy.